Hi there, and thank you so much for clicking on this video today. My name is Kaylee and I'm a beauty and fashion photographer based near Sydney, Australia, but I'm also a content creator and creative freelancer. I started this channel a couple of years ago to talk about all things creative, freelancing, and business, as I love these topics and I felt like I needed a whole new channel to talk about them. And in this video today, I'm going to be talking about why I don't like to stick to a set schedule. And I've talked about this a little bit or briefly on my channel before, but I haven't really gone in depth as to why I don't enjoy working to a schedule or why I find it almost impossible to do so. Some people in this world are just very attuned to working to a very set schedule, and sometimes certain people can't live without their schedule. For me, I like planning, and if you've watched this channel before, you'll see that I plan all the time. I've got things always on the move. I use about 7 different kinds of planners at times because I've got creative journals, I've got goals journals, I've got my weekly planner, my daily, yearly. I've just got so many planners and I really enjoy utilizing them. But when it comes to actually having a set schedule day to day, I feel like I can't stick to them. And I'm going to talk through a little bit about why I don't try and stick to a schedule today. So maybe you might relate to this video a little bit. You might find yourself thinking the same things as I do when it comes to the schedule. And I really want to share why it's not always the necessary path to take. If you are a creative freelancer or if you own your small business, you don't always have to have a set schedule. And to be honest, for a lot of us out there who have become creative freelancers, one of the whole reasons why we've done this, and I think this is a really common thing, is that we didn't want to have to be set in a 9-to-5 job where we had a really set schedule. It's to have that flexibility, right? So obviously that's one of the reasons why I went into creative freelancing and why I don't try and stick to a set schedule. But I'm going to go through some of the other reasons now why I don't, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. So number one is that my mind just wanders too much. And this sounds like a really weird excuse to be putting as number one as to why I don't stick to a set schedule, but I think it's really coming from the creative in me that wants to have that bit more flexibility with my day and allow myself to be creative when I feel creative and not always be locked into doing certain tasks at certain times of the day. Or even something as simple as having a YouTube schedule, I've found has just not worked for me over the years. And one of the main reasons why is that my mind wanders. Sometimes as a creative, I get so incredibly bored with one task as well, or so unfocused on a certain task that I just have to do something else. And I think this is for a lot of people. It's not necessarily just creatives, but I do think we feel it a little bit more when it comes to working from home and knowing if you've got a set schedule. Sometimes things just don't work as they should as a creative, and sometimes you just don't feel like you're in a creative mood to do something. For example, if I set myself a task on one particular day during the week to shoot some new images for my product photography portfolio and really just to do a setup and put everything together, and I woke up that morning feeling like not creative at all, just in the worst mindset ever, like really not wanting to do that. Sometimes there's not really much point to me pushing ahead with that because I just know I'm not in the right frame of mind to really get that inspiration I had into those images. So sometimes I'll just push it to the next day or push it to another day in the following week whenever I've got a little bit of time available, maybe when I'm in a better mindset, and I'll kind of try and psych myself up for it then. But honestly, one of the reasons, like I said, is because my mind wanders a lot, and quite often I'm just not in the mood to do certain things as a creative. And sounds kind of like a lazy ideal, but unfortunately that's just me. The second reason why I don't try and stick to a set schedule is that my worst fear in life is really being trapped in one spot or being unable to have my freedom. And freedom is always my main goal. So obviously having something like a set schedule day to day is something that kind of goes against my values in that sense. And it really does make me feel at times like I'm trapped into doing certain tasks that I might want to not do on a certain day, or I might need to be doing something else. And I'm going to go into this in the next point as well. The next point will be a main reason why I don't really stick to a set schedule throughout my week. But in this particular point, I really do feel like I want that flexibility with my week. I want to be able to push and shove things around as I see fit. And if I can't particularly get to a certain thing on one day, then I want to be able to easily move that to the next week if I need to, or to the next day, or even to later in the day. I just need that flexibility at times, and I want it and I crave it. And it's always been in me to sort of do that with my working week. I think it really does help my mental health overall when I do work like that and I be a little bit more flexible with myself. I'm not so hard on myself for sticking to a set schedule. So that's another one of the main reasons why I don't like to do it. And number 3 is that the nature of my work sometimes doesn't allow me to stick to a set schedule. Now, with the kind of work that I do, I'm a creative freelancer, as I mentioned before, but I do lots of different things under that umbrella. I do photography, I do retouching jobs, I do YouTube, I do educational videos and courses, I do coaching, I sell products, I'm often organizing test shoots. There is just so much that goes into my business that in any given week, if I've set myself a really specific schedule, quite often anyway, it is just not going to happen. More often than not, for example, if I've set myself a day full of tasks on, say, on a Wednesday, and then I've got things hour by hour that I need to be doing that I've set myself, I could very easily get an email in my inbox about a retouching job that I need to complete ASAP. So obviously a lot of my other priorities for the day may just have to immediately be pushed to further down in the week. So it's things like that that often do come up. If I get coaching sessions booked in, for example, things like that, I need to be able to move things around. It is a very tricky kind of workload to work a set schedule into, and it's just unfortunately something that doesn't really work well with the nature of my business as well at times. And number 4 is that I actually prefer to write really good to-do lists that actually work. And I really like to prioritize my work that way. I may not necessarily believe in a set schedule for myself, but I do believe in to-do lists and I do believe in planning ahead. I think both of these aspects are incredibly important as a creative freelancer, as someone who works from home and works for themselves. I do need to be organized. And I think what I'm saying today is even though you may not work to a set schedule, it's important to still be organized. I really love writing out a to-do list and I love being specific with what I need to do during the day. I love also mixing it up. It's not very often that I'll do one task for the entire day. Some days will be like that where I've got really heavy tasks, like I might need to do a lot of filming on one day, so that will be my main task. But for the most part, I like to mix it up and I like to add different priorities into each day. But I think the key word is really prioritization here and making sure that your tasks on the to-do list are written in a specific order that is prioritizing your work. So guys, those are some of the reasons why I don't like sticking to a specific schedule in my day-to-day or in my work week. Hopefully you might relate to some of these things and let me know down in the comments if you do. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel already, make sure that you do. I'll be posting a lot more content in future. But thank you so much for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one.